Hey everybody, John Crawford here from the Kiwanis Club of Grantville Allard Gardens in San Diego. Just wanted to give you some encouragement and some ideas maybe about how you can keep your club active during the quarantine. It's been a couple of months now already, and some clubs are staying very active and doing a good job at it. Others are looking around for something to do. We also want to look at ways to keep our youth groups active, whether it's Circle K, Key Club, Builders Club. There's always a way to keep active, keep in contact with one another. So I thought I would give you my top 10 list of just ways to keep the club active, ways to keep in contact with one another, just what to do with your club during a quarantine. And hopefully we'll be out of it soon. Hopefully these are tips that you might never need to use again. But let's go ahead and take off with number 10. Number 10, keep active on social media. Well, it's number 10 on the list, but it is important. I remember going to the Kiwanis International Convention in Las Vegas, Nevada in 2018, and I went to a social media workshop there where they said, and it might sound kind of harsh, I admit it, but one of the messages at this workshop was, if your club is not on social media, then it might as well not even exist. It's everything these days is done on social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any other number of platforms, Snapchat maybe. That is where younger people are going these days to get information about volunteer work, about their community. They're not turning necessarily to websites. They are certainly not opening up books and magazines. If they want to get information, they're going to Google it. They're going to look for it on Facebook, on social media. So make sure that your club has some sort of social media presence, that you're keeping it active, up to date, and even during the quarantine, hey, even if you're not doing anything now, currently with your club, post pictures of some of the stuff that you've done in the past. So maybe people will get interested in your club that way. Hey, you know what? On this date back in 2010, we did this event. Or, remember that time that we all gathered together to feed the homeless? That was a fun project. Something like that, to show that your club, even if it's not active right now, show where you've been in the past so people can see what the kind of things that you do. If your social media platform for Kiwanis or for your SLP group, whether it's Key Club or Circle K, if your social media platform has been silent since March or February or earlier, it's not going to attract a lot of eyes. It's not going to attract a lot of new business. So whoever's in charge of your social media, keep it up and running, keep it up to date, and dig into the archives if you have to, but at least show that somebody is there. That's important. Moving on, number 9. Number 9, take up a collection. This is a fun way to serve, and it fulfills a need. Even under quarantine conditions, there are still homeless people in need of clothing, socks. Socks are a big thing. Bottled water is a big thing for the homeless population. So if you can collect items that they might need, that's a good thing. You see a lot of the little libraries around town. Go ahead and find some books. Stock those little libraries. Everybody takes books out of those. Put one back in, and maybe put a Kiwanis business card in there while you're at it. Food banks. Food banks are another one. You want to go take your club, let them know that you're doing this, notify them by email, by social media, what have you. But let them know that you want to take up a collection of canned food, non-perishable food, that sort of thing. Something that can be taken to your local food bank or to a local shelter. Wherever that you're planning to donate, first of all, make sure that they are accepting donations, because with COVID-19, everybody is at risk of infection. So not everybody might be willing to accept donations off the street the way they used to. So you can't just show up somewhere with a handful of groceries or whatever and expect people to just take it and say thank you. Call ahead, let them know what you're doing, who you are, what you intend to do, and if it's okay with them, then yes, there are plenty of places out there that are still accepting donations. Um, I know of a club that was trying to make food for nurses, for first responders, and it turned out that the hospital, because of COVID-19, was not accepting any inbound donations of any food, any homemade products. So again, take up a collection of something where there might still be a need, uh, but double check to make sure that wherever you're planning to donate to is still accepting donations. Moving on, number 8. Number 8, show your patriotism. This one is kind of easy to do because it doesn't take a lot. Some clubs are already very well equipped for this. My club, for example, has been placing flags on one of our major streets in the community, Waring Road. We've been placing flags on Waring Road for every federal holiday since 1970, since Washington's birthday or President's Day of 1970. So that's 50 years now that we've been displaying the American flag. And every time we do it, people honk at us, people say thank you. They appreciate seeing the red, white, and blue. 22 flags on up and down each side of the street, so 44 total. And people really do appreciate the work that we do on any federal holiday. And that can be Memorial Day, which just passed. Flag Day is coming up June 14th. We have, of course, the 4th of July. Labor Day, if the quarantine lasts through Labor Day, then, plan ahead. And even if you don't have like ready-made flags with holes drilled in the sidewalk like we do, you know what? Flags are readily available. You can get them online. There are flag suppliers online. You can go to Party City and get some patriotic materials. Target had a big display of flags, so U.S. flags are pretty affordable. And even if it's just as simple as walking your neighborhood and planting a little flag in people's lawns, okay, maybe not everybody wants a little flag in their lawn, but a lot of them will. A lot of them will accept that. And if you put down a little note that says this is from Kiwanis, then you'll get a little publicity that way too. So, June 14th, Flag Day, 4th of July, Independence Day, or just in general, be proud of this country and show your patriotism. So, moving on. Number 7. Number 7, reach out to past members of your club or current members of your club who might be isolated. We have some members of our club, of course, who cannot meet with us online. Maybe they don't have the technology. Maybe they're afraid of the technology. For whatever reason, we are trying to meet online using Zoom and other online platforms. A lot of our members, thankfully, have been making it to those meetings. Other clubs might not be meeting at all currently. So even if your club is not having meetings, you can at least go down the list, go down your roster, and check in on people. Make sure that everybody's healthy. Make sure everybody has what they need, especially the older members who might be living alone. Thankfully, we have checked in and heard from just about everybody in our club. So everybody seems to be happy and healthy right now, but you never know. There might be that one person who is bored at home and isolated, and maybe just the sound of a human voice can really make a difference in their day. So check up on the other members of your club. Check up on the past members of the club. Let them know that you still care about them and that you're interested in what they're doing, how they're coping with the quarantine. And you never know, some of these past members might really remember that, and that might make an impression on them. Maybe those past members of your club will become members once again once the quarantine is lifted. You never know. It's worth a try. Moving on to number 6. Number 6, online fundraising. Now, I have some experience with this one. Obviously, our clubs are going to need money to do any kind of function. We're trying to raise money for whatever it is that you're raising money for, whatever projects that you have in the community. Every club is different, so there's no one right answer on this. But whatever it is that you do for a fundraiser, chances are it's been affected in some way by the COVID-19 quarantine. We can't exactly go out and sell stuff the way we used to. We can't go out and do restaurant fundraisers like we used to when the restaurants are closed. Even when the restaurants reopen, they might be just a shell of what they once were, and they might not be as willing to do fundraising if they've been struggling throughout this quarantine. So we might have to get creative with fundraising. See what you can do about maybe selling goods and materials online. I've heard of Kiwanis members making masks, those breathing masks. I don't have one with me right now. Oh, yes, I do. I have a breathing mask right here. So, if you want to make one of these facial masks, I've seen ones that say Kiwanis on them with a little tag that says Kiwanis. I've heard of Kiwanis members that are making these masks and either donating them out there or selling them for a donation to a particular project. So maybe that's the Eliminate project for MNT at UNICEF. Maybe that's the Pediatric Trauma Program in the CNH district. If there are other projects or programs that you want to support, there's no wrong answer. Children's Miracle Network is a good one. Again, whatever you want to do to raise money, if you have somebody capable of making masks, see if you can make a little money off of these. Make them stylish, make them attractive, but you can sell those online. I also want to mention the birthday fundraising option on Facebook. I did one of these 2 years ago. If you have a birthday coming up this summer, or if anybody in your club has a birthday coming up this summer, check out the birthday fundraising option on Facebook. It's very easy to set up. All it does is it posts something on your Facebook page out to all of your friends and says, hey, my birthday is coming up. For my birthday, I would really appreciate it if you would donate to this cause. And I put my club's Kiwanis Foundation, or I think specifically our scholarship fund. And 2 years ago, when I did that for my birthday, we made about $212, which is, I would say, much better than I ever expected. When I first put that up, I thought maybe I'll make, $20, $25, $30 off of this, if I'm lucky. We made over 200, which surprised me. And we were getting donations from people that I never expected, people that haven't been in the Kiwanis family for probably decades, but still remember what Kiwanis is all about and remembered finally their time in Circle K or Key Club. So if you have the ability to do an online fundraiser through social media, go ahead and try it out. It shouldn't cost you anything. I shouldn't say it doesn't, but it shouldn't. I believe it's free to set up, and it should be a pretty low risk effort. So you never know, you might get a few bucks out of it. Try it. Moving on to number 5. Number 5, individualized service for individual members. It's very easy to do service at home. Obviously cleaning up your home, doing housework, doing chores around your place, that's not going to qualify as community service. However, you can go out into your neighborhood, even if you have to wear a face mask, go out in the neighborhood and see what you can do about picking up litter. There's always going to be a need out there somewhere. Litter is the easiest thing. Maybe there might be dead plant materials to sweep up or rake up somewhere. Anything that you can do to beautify your community. And it should be something that's easy to do. And they can be, going out for a walk with a hefty bag, a trash bag, and one of those grabbers, one of those trigger grabber things for picking up litter. You can really make a difference just doing that once a day. Take a 15-minute walk around the block. Do several blocks, do different blocks around your neighborhood. But if you did that for 15 minutes a day, number one, you're getting exercise, and number two, you're getting service hours. Do that four times a week for 15 minutes, you've got a service hour. Do it 20 minutes for 3 times a week, you've got a service hour. So it adds up. And any litter that you pick up, you know what? That's going to count as community service. That's really helping out the community in a way that other people might overlook if not for the quarantine. So give it a try. It's very easy to do. If you encourage your entire club to do that, then you can actually make a big difference in your community. Could you imagine if your entire club or an entire Key Club or entire Circle K Club decided to just pick up litter around the block. That's a lot of blocks for a larger club. All right, so moving on, number 4. Number 4, continue holding meetings online if you can. I'm very fortunate because my club has continued to have meetings almost since day one of the quarantine. I think we missed one meeting, probably not two. I think we might have missed maybe a total of one meeting when the quarantine first came up. But we started meeting online using the Zoom application. I know there are other applications out there like that. We just happen to use Zoom, so I'm not endorsing them. It works for us. You may have another program that you like. But go ahead and continue to meet online as best you can. Our president has the bell and gavel at his home. There's a flag, and we say the flag salute. We have project announcements. We have special guests at every meeting. As a matter of fact, we have had interclubs, and we have had guests from other places throughout the country, really. We've had guests from Arizona, New Mexico, New Hampshire, all up and down California. People who wouldn't ordinarily be able to join us for one of our regular meetings because, quite frankly, they don't live anywhere near us. But to get the opportunity to have guests come in from faraway places, from thousands of miles away, even to have guest speakers from thousands of miles away. We had both of our candidates for district governor. One of them lives in our county, but still a good 30, 40 miles away from us. The other one lives in Northern California, nowhere near us, so we would not have been able to have her as a guest speaker under normal circumstances. Our guest speaker at today's meeting is from Sacramento. That's a good 500 miles from here. So take the opportunity. This is a rare and unique opportunity to have guest speakers from around the club, from around the world, I should say. Visitors from around the world. Invite other Kiwanis clubs to check in on you and see what you're doing. We have been in contact with past members of our Circle K Club, the graduates who have gone on to bigger and better things. They've checked in with us. And it's really been a wonderful opportunity to showcase our club to other parts of the world. So, and guess what? During the quarantine, interclubs count. So we're still getting our interclubs. We've been visiting with our Circle K members. We've been visiting other clubs within our division. We have had division council meetings online. So interclubs do count, and we're still aiming for that interclub trophy at the end of the year. So, all right, moving on to number 3. Number 3, get your students involved. I know that the school year kind of ended abruptly for some. Our Circle K students had to move off campus. Obviously, the high school students couldn't meet on campus anymore for Key Club. The conventions were canceled for Circle K and for Key Club. Very disappointing. And Builders Club, we had to stop that altogether because they don't have conventions, and we really don't have a way of reaching those members outside of school. So Builders Club had to come to a complete stop. K-Kids had to come to a complete stop. But that doesn't mean that the students have to be isolated from Kiwanis or from the Kiwanis family. As mentioned, we have had a number of Circle K guests join us for our club meetings, and we've gone to their club meetings online. It's been fun to see how active our Circle K club has been during the quarantine. Everybody's still keeping in contact with each other. The Circle K club had a end of the year banquet online the other day. So life is still going on as best we can. Let's make sure that we recognize those students who are still participating in service, who are still attending our meetings. It's always wonderful to have youth members for our SLP clubs, Circle K, Key Club, that sort of thing, come in and join us for a Kiwanis meeting. So we want to recognize and thank those guests for attending. We've also been continuing to recognize our academic stars, our Student of the Month award winners from the local elementary school. Just today we had the school principal and 2 teachers join us to celebrate the academic achievements of one very special student. So Now, the school year is coming to a close soon, but hey, that means all the more opportunities for you to work with those students, since our high school students will soon be out of school. Those who have been attending classes online will have part of their day freed up, and hopefully will be more able to join Kiwanis. We're even looking at having a Circle K takeover online because, quite frankly, those students are much better at technology than the rest of us are. So I expect we should see some interesting things out of that club when the takeover happens. So keep those SLP students involved, keep them interested, and please really recognize them for their participation. Try to recognize them as individuals. It's not enough to say, hey, our Circle Kers are here. Let's get to know them. Let's get to know their names, find out a little bit about them, because they are individuals and they want to be recognized as such. Let's keep them involved and keep the Kiwanis family active. Moving on to number 2. Number 2, make those post-quarantine plans. At some point in the next month or several months, we don't know when, but life is going to get back to normal. So, how is your Kiwanis Club going to respond? How is your club going to market itself to the community? Let's face it, it's been hard to recruit new members for Kiwanis while we've been meeting online, while we've been under quarantine conditions. Thankfully, my club actually is in the process of adding a member. I thought we might lose several because of the quarantine. But we're going to actually come out of this +1, maybe even better than that. So, but you still want to be able to market your club to people once we get back to a normal sense of life and able to meet in person again. Go ahead and make your plans as far as what your Kiwanis Club is going to look like after the quarantine. We can also reach out to the rest of the community with words of encouragement. Obviously, small businesses have suffered, restaurants in particular. Any sort of beauty salons, nail salons, hair salons, those have suffered intensely. Mom and pop shops, I mean, the corporations are going to be okay, but the mom and pop shops are the ones who are really going to feel it economically. So, one thing that I've done, and I'd like my club to help support this, we haven't voted on this yet, but I went ahead and made some signs for posting around the community. And they're very simple signs, very straightforward, but they have the Kiwanis logo on them at the bottom. And it's basically encouraging any drivers, any residents of the community to make sure that they shop local, dine local, support our local businesses, keep the money in the community, and really help build up the community back to where it was before the quarantine. By eating locally, by supporting the local mom and pop shops, you're supporting local families. That really is what Kiwanis is all about. It's supporting your local community. And as much as we want to make the world a better place, that starts at home. So think about reaching out to your community. Maybe that means taking out an ad in the community newspaper. I personally like the idea of signs, or you can make posters, whatever it is that gets the name of Kiwanis out, but also make sure that it's going out there with a positive message. Of course, you can do this on social media as well. So if you're in a community group, hey, Kiwanis is here to remind you that we want to support our local businesses. We want to support our local restaurants. A lot of those local business owners, maybe if they're not in your Kiwanis Club already, they could be. So maybe just reaching out and supporting them is a sign that they would be welcome as a part of your group. So you never know, you might get some members out of it that way. Number 1. Number 1. Show your appreciation for those in harm's way. With the coronavirus going on, obviously it's our first responders, it's our medical professionals, doctors, nurses, paramedics, hospital volunteers, pharmacists, anybody who works in the medical field. We should be reaching out to them and showing our appreciation, just as you might do for a firefighter after a huge firestorm or a forest fire. just as you might do for the police after they save you from a robbery or something like that. You want to reach out and really thank the people who are putting themselves out on the front lines, working the emergency rooms, screening people for COVID-19, for the coronavirus. A lot of those people are getting sick themselves because they're exposed to it so often. You can wear the face masks, you can take all the precautions in the world. It's still a microscopic germ. It's still a virus that's going around, and it's going to spread from person to person eventually. I happen to know a nurse, an ER nurse in Las Vegas, Nevada, who did test positive for COVID-19. And she didn't do anything wrong. I mean, I know she was wearing her scrubs and her gloves and her face mask and everything that she was supposed to do. It's still going to spread. And so some of these people really are putting their lives at risk by going to work every day, by showing up, doing their duty. We have a registered nurse within our club who is bravely going to work on a daily basis, surrounded by this COVID-19 situation. And she's going into work 5 days a week, and so far she's okay. I hope she'll continue to be okay. But at the same time, she's finding that people around her are kind of shunning her because they know that she is being exposed to possibly the COVID-19 virus on an almost daily basis. So they're not treating her the same as they normally would. They're kind of avoiding her. And she's, you're going to take that personally. It's not that anybody is doing anything wrong, but it's unfortunate that our doctors and our nurses are feeling shunned or unappreciated when we should be doing just the opposite. So if you have an opportunity with your Kiwanis Club, with your youth group members, make some cards, write up some thank you cards. I know I happen to have a lot of just blank thank you cards right here. I think they're blank. Yeah, they're blank on the inside. Just write a quick note. Hey, to the doctors at your local hospital, to the nurses, the RNs who are in harm's way, who are treating COVID-19 patients. Let's say thank you. Just write them a little note. You can mail them out. You can deliver them, to the hospital. Whatever you end up doing. I know that the key clubs of Scripps Ranch High School and Mira Mesa High School had their students work on individual cards, which were then collected and delivered as a big group. So this is something that you can do as an individual, or something that you can do as a club, or even bigger still, as a division. It's such a basic thing to say thank you, and yet it goes unsaid so often. We should be appreciating our doctors, our nurses, hospital volunteers, hospital staff, anybody who is in the medical profession right now who might be at risk of catching this virus, so that the rest of us don't have to. And so let's say thank you to all of our medical professionals. Let's give them a little thank you. And even after quarantine is lifted, I know that I'm going to have my Builders Club work on this very project, because you can't say thank you enough. They're risking their lives, putting themselves in harm's way. You just can't say it enough. So that was my top 10 ways to keep your club active. If you have additional ideas, go ahead and hit me up in the comments. Send me a message. But I'd love to hear what other ideas you might have. Let's all hope that this quarantine situation is coming to a close soon, we hope. But you never know. We might be in this for the long haul. And even when things do return to normal, it might never be the same out there again. Thank you very much for your time. You have a good day.